Hello, my name is Professor John Benjamin, and this is West Virginia Wesleyan College. This is Game Design. So today I'm gonna introduce you to light actors. So let's go ahead and start a new game, a new project, and let's start with a blank project. And let's start with the first-person project, and we're just gonna call it light. All right, but I think what we're gonna do here is we're gonna start a new level. So let's go to File, New Level. And let's start with an empty level. It's just a black abyss. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is go ahead and add a box. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and change it to be 10 by 10. Okay. All right, and then let's add a couple of other brushes here. Let's add a box there, and I'm going to just go ahead and add a sphere over here. And let's increase the tessellation so it's a little more spherical. All right. So right now there are no lights in here, and if we built the lighting, we wouldn't see anything. So there's just a default set of lights so we can see our objects. Okay, but what we want to do is try out some new lights. Okay, so the first light that we're going to try out is a directional light. This is a powerful single direction light. It's usually used for sunlight or moonlight. So let's go ahead and just take a look and see what that does. It's a really powerful light. And typically, in order to see how lights really look, you need to go ahead and do a build. So go up here to your build, and let's go ahead and we could just build lighting only. Okay, and then you can see how your light looks. And if you want to test it out, you can go ahead and hit play. And here is your first-person actor, and you can walk around, and it's a pretty bright light with some pretty extreme shadows. All right, there's some settings that we can change on this light. So we can go ahead, change the intensity. We can change the color. And this is how soft it is. So you can see the shadows are getting softened as I increase the source soft angle. And if I go back and change color, if I hit my little yellow hook arrow here, change that back to white, I can turn on use temperature. And so color temperature is a real measure of temperature. It's measured between 1,000 and 10,000, and it's measured in Kelvin. And the lower the number, the warmer the light, and the higher the number, the cooler the light. And so this is different than light color, which is just like if you were on a stage and you put a filter to indicate, let's say, a light that was emitted from an exit sign or something along those lines, or to have sort of dramatic effect. But color temperature is something that really exists. So again, at the end of the day, it becomes warmer, and under a cloudy sky it becomes cooler. Tungsten lights are typically warmer, and fluorescent lights are typically cooler. And so we want to make those measurements based on or the appropriate time of day or the appropriate time of lighting. And you can turn on or off cast shadows, and depending on the type of game that you're using, if you want to be more realistic, obviously you want to cast shadows, but it could be a very simplistic game, and it saves a lot of rendering time and processing power, so you might want to turn off cast shadows in some circumstances. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the other light actors that we have. So let's go ahead and drag out a point light. Okay, a point light we usually use it for like a fire or a lamp. And so basically it gives off light in all directions, different than a spotlight, let's say, for instance. Again, change its color, we can change its intensity, and we can change its attenuation radius. Again, so this is how far you're going to be able to see it at different distances, if you walk away or walk towards it. So again, remember, if you want to really try to see how your lights are going to look, then you're going to have to go ahead and do a build. All right. Once that's done, you'll get a more accurate picture of how your lights are looking. All right, and then we can obviously just go to play and get a sense of what it's doing. Okay. All right, now let's take a look at Spotlight. So go ahead and drag a Spotlight out onto your level. Well, it'd be easier if I turned off my directional light. That's pretty powerful. So here's my Spotlight. You can see it a little bit better. So then you can see here the inner cone. That makes it softer if they're spread apart from each other. And then, of course, whatever we want the spotlight to be on, we can simply change its radius. And there's our spotlight. And we can turn off our point light too to see that. Again, and it's a directional light. We can use it for things like flashlights, anything that kind of has a focused cone of direction. Okay, and then the last light that we want to look at is a rectangular light. And a lot of times we use rectangular lights for things like screens. And so we can go ahead and make sort of like we can fashion a television here. And so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and drag a rectangular light here, and you can see kind of how it works. It emits light in one direction in the shape of a rectangle. So we could go ahead here and rotate it. So I'll rotate this one forward, and this will be the light that's emitted. From the TV, and we can go ahead and increase the width and the height. And what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to go ahead and just delete my directional light and my point light so we can get a better idea of, we can see this a little better. Let's go ahead and just delete the spotlight as well. All right, so we just have the rectangular light. All right, and so another thing that we can do is, so I can illuminate this area, I can drag in another one, or simply just duplicate this one. And then I'm going to rotate it so it faces the other direction. All right, then this will give more of an impression, something like a TV. And I can change the barn door size here. All right, that looks pretty accurate. This is pretty awkward. I think I'd have to fix that. But let's go ahead. Oh, no, that works. See, that's a full build. All right, and that looks like a television set in a dark room. And we can hit play. And there we have it. Now, of course, we can change things like the color. We can make it more of a like television, a little bit more blue. So that's the introduction to light actors.